Hey everyone, and welcome to another meeting of the Tropical Rum Society. I'm Matt, and today we're looking at a Platinum and Gold Medal Award winner. Now before we get too deep into the review, I do want to say that those medals are for the Best Value Spirit category, so I'm not getting my hopes up too high just yet. But with that, let's jump straight in and take a look at Black Bart Spiced Rum. So Black Bart is produced by a liquor company here in Australia called the Edgemill Group. I had a read through their website and it seems like they're a heavily corporatized conglomerate of liquor brands, but I only recognize one of their other products, so they're not exactly prolific in the liquor scene. Interestingly, the group was started by the son of a man who migrated to Australia, who opened a milk bar, supermarket, and then drive-in bottle shop. The son took over the bottle shop in 1989 and expanded operations so it included a wholesale liquor business as well. And that has over time developed into what's now called the Edgemill Group. So from the sounds of it, this family has done very well for themselves in the world of business. And even though that business is related to liquor and alcohol, it sounds like they're very much on the business side of things rather than the production and alcoholic creation side of things. The website and their backstory do give me a very corporate feel. And I think there might be a focus on profits rather than necessarily creating the best quality product that they can. I think they're probably going to be aiming for a cost-efficient product, and that might be why we've seen that they've got Best Value Spirit awards. But before we jump the gun and make too many assumptions, let's talk about this rum so that we can get to tasting it and see what it's actually like. Black Bart itself is a 40% ABV rum, and apparently it was created to pay tribute to the pirate rums of yesteryear. It's named after the notorious Caribbean pirate Black Bart, though whether there's meant to be any association with his rough and rugged character actually present in the rum, I guess we'll find out in a minute. On the bottle, it claims to be a small batch rum with 25 natural herbs and spices, so I guess that means it should be twice as good as KFC's chicken. Strangely, everything that I can find both on the bottle and online say that all of these herbs and spices are steeped individually, then charcoal filtered through some coconut shell charcoal, and then added into a 2-year-old Barbados rum. This 2-year-old rum has been aged in charred oak barrels, but that's as much as it seems to say about that. Personally, I find it a little bit strange that they're doing all of these steepings individually and then mixing into the rum, rather than just infusing the rum directly. But maybe that's just me, so let me know what you think, or if you think that this was a better way, let me know in the comments below. Also, 25 individual herbs and spices seems like a little bit much to me, so let's get to tasting this and see how many of those 25 we can actually pick out. Taking a look at the bottle, I think it's a really nice design. I love the look of the label with a huge amounts of detail juxtaposed against the simplicity of the clear bottle around it. Also, it's very obvious that they're proud of the gold medals, and they're using them to their marketing advantage by having them so prominent on the front of the bottle. Strangely, the last medal on the bottle, though, seems to have no actual category to it. It just says Black Bart, so I guess that's a general rum category, and they've just used the name there. Not quite too sure what that one's for. Also, I do note that the platinum medal's not on this bottle here, but they may have won that after this bottle was shipped out. It's much easier to update a website than it is to go around and put a new sticker on thousands of bottles on shelves. There's plenty of writing on the back label as well, which is very informative in a clean, simple way. So overall, I do like the look of this bottle. It is nice and elegant and simple. Feels like it may have gone through a round or two of market research to choose the best way to plan it all out, but it still looks like a good bottle. I'm sure you didn't come here for a packaging review, so we'll just leave it at that, and let's get stuck into what this rum looks like in the glass. The weight of this bottle is actually quite nice as well. It definitely gives sort of like a premium feel, and this giant cork on the top here, that's also a very nice touch. Like, that thing is massive, huge. Anyway, let's get this poured out. Ooh, sloshing it around everywhere. Okay, get that in the glass, that'll do. Got a little down the side there, but that's okay. Let's have a look. Looking through this and letting the light come from this particular angle, kind of looks like a beer to me, like a flat beer that has no carbonation left. It's got some orange and brown tinges in amongst all the golden color there. It's quite nice. It's very sticky on the edge of the glass as I swirl it around. It's creating a couple of legs there, but it's taking a while, so seems like a little bit of a thick one. And even though I haven't actually got to smelling this from the glass yet, there's almost like a smell of like, almost like a custard. Like I definitely remember when I was a young kid, my dad made, I think it was bird's eye custard, and that is what this smells like right now. The kitchen when Dad was making custard. The nose on that is pretty tasty, although it does feel maybe a little bit forced. Like there's a lot of vanilla in here, but it's kind of offset nicely by some zesty citrus notes as well. There's definitely some spices coming out of that as well. I'd probably say something maybe like a cardamom or some cloves, something along those lines. It's also a bit of a ginger sensation, like swirling around in my mind as well. But overall, I think it's a pretty balanced, intoxicating sort of scent. No pun intended. Or maybe there is. I don't know. I've had a few rums today, so could be. So in the taste, there's definitely a few flavors that have come through from the nose that are still present, but there's also a couple that you couldn't really smell that are very, very noticeable in the taste. There's a very sweet vanilla that came across first, and then a little bit of that cardamom clove spiciness. But then there was a sudden burst of flavor that was not in the nose. It was kind of like a charred, sort of burnt, almost like a burnt coffee sort of flavor. It doesn't last long. It's definitely a quick pop of flavor, which mellows out pretty quickly. And then there's a warming ginger sensation that gets left at the end. It's actually surprised me quite a bit. Like I was thinking that this would not be too much other than vanilla and maybe a couple of spices, but this is actually surprisingly well balanced and also has quite a bit of a journey to it. Like there's a lot of things that I was not expecting when I tasted it that came through very nicely. It's definitely caught me off guard for a rum that has won best value category. Like I was thinking that it would just be a cheap rum that does okay, but okay, yeah, I can see why you would get value out of this. Like, yes, it's not an expensive rum, but it does have quite a bit of value. Also, I would say, so long as you don't mind smoked kind of charred flavors, this also seems to have a little bit of everything for everyone, because you've got some spiciness, you've got sweetness, you've got that charred flavor. So it's really got quite a lot packed into one little rum here. It also does a good job at not just being like a Captain Morgan copycat. You can tell that they've got their own flavor profile in here, which I'm honestly quite shocked by. I was not expecting that. So yeah, overall, I'd say that this was an unexpectedly good rum. You can definitely feel the corporate vibes in the packaging and that very clean-cut, polished look that it's got. But it seems like they haven't just put all of their effort into designing the bottle and the label. There was actually a decent amount of care that went into the rum itself. As I'm sure you could probably tell from the beginning of this meeting, my hopes were not super high on this one. I was definitely expecting this to be something that you'd probably just use as a mixer, and I am happy to say that I do not think that anymore. In fact, I kind of feel like I almost owe Black Bart and the Edgemill group a bit of an apology, because I was fully prepared to rip into this one, but it's actually stood up and fired back at me and held its own. Initially, I was going to say something along the lines of, don't bother with it unless you want a more expensive Captain Morgan. But after actually tasting it, like, I'd probably buy this again. I actually do enjoy this. And now I need someone else to go out and get a bottle of this and try it themselves, just so I can see what other people think. Like, does this just perfectly fit my palate and is exactly what I'm personally looking for? Or is it something that more people than just I enjoy? So if you can be that person, go get yourself a bottle. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. While you do that, I think I might actually top this up a little bit more and then go get the bottle on the shelf, and I will see you in the next meeting. Cheers.